right, cool.
Coach Naz, welcome to The Growth Concept.
Yo, what's happening? Thanks for having me.
It's been a while. I remember, what episode was it? Episode 18. We sat down when the show was first launching. We recorded. This was probably a year and a half ago now.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
Time flies, right?
100%. Yeah. Naz, for someone who is hearing your story for the first time, what is it you do and what are you passionate about right now?
Right. So currently, I'm a PT at Jets Canada South. And I've been doing PT now for almost 14, 15 years. And what I'm passionate about doing PT is helping other people transform their lives. But more importantly for me, going through mental challenges in the past is actually what you gain from the mental change going into the gym, gaining willpower, gaining strength, gaining self-belief, and also the attitude that you can move from a place that you may feel stuck at one point. And then the second thing that I do is I'm actually into music, if you knew. And
Coach Naz.
Yeah, I DJ, I create my own music, and I also run some production at the moment, which is videos, podcasts, basically entertainment, edutainment, if you would say, some would say, because my goal is to basically help people shift and have hope and do it in a way that is easy and accessible, rather than by the traditional, read, write, or observe. Yeah.
Taking the path of being a DJ and hosting somewhat of a media production business, what point in your journey did you want to go down the music and production route compared to the PT side of things?
Well, as I said, I've been doing PT for, more than a decade. And for me, PT and helping people in that arena came from more of an external drive, as in that, I was never really helped to do many things, and I always felt like I wanted to help others be able to do what they could do, or what potential they had. But now when it came to music, now this is something that came for me just after I got diagnosed with bipolar, and I was stuck at home. I couldn't move much, couldn't do many things. I was in my own space most of the time. And I just thought to myself, if I was to pass tomorrow, what's one thing that I would do today or take a step in the direction of doing that would make me truly happy? And when I look in the past, it was always music and things to do with movement. Yeah.
Wow, that's such a deep concept I wasn't even aware of.
Yeah.
At what point in your life did you have this realization that if I passed, would I be happy with what I've done so far?
It came more from externally, but also internally. Me being an empath and a thinker and a dreamer all the time, is that yourself, like when you have dreams or things that you're aspiring to get to, first of all, is to believe, but then also to come back from extending yourself and saying that, hey, you can do this. It is possible. It may take time to get you to where you need to be. But if I start now, I will eventually make it there.
Did someone tell you that you could pass? Or was this something that you knew? Or
no, it was more just a fear of just knowing I wasn't living to my potential. That I wasn't waking up every day and going to sleep every night knowing that I did the best that I could. And I made a pact with myself that I was going to do whatever it took, just like my tattoo. Either I'll find a way or I'll make one, or I'm to blame. That if I was to make this pact, I would start doing the thing that truly made me happy. But following along in the lines of inspiring and still changing and helping people. And music was the thing, that's the universal language that I found.
I love that. Your tattoo, what does that say?
It says in Latin, but it says either I'll find a way or I'll make one, or I'm to blame.
Wow. That's so deep. In regards to the story behind the tattoo, was it at what point in your life? Like, help me understand the timeline that this switched for you, because you've been a PT for over a decade. You've transitioned into music. At what point did you realize this? Because you were saying that you were diagnosed with bipolar. Was it during that time? Was it before or after?
The tattoo?
Yeah.
This tattoo came when I first started my spiritual journey and started to realize that nothing was going to be given to me, and that I had to figure things out by myself in any aspect, and all the different things that I was trying to do and achieve. That once I looked at it as failure, but I look at now as some experience. But this tattoo was another pact with myself that I was going to do this for me, and know that if I have this on my skin, no matter what, if I do it or I don't do it, I'm going to be to blame. So it's almost like a reminder.
Do you view it as that constant reminder that if you look on your arm, it's just always like...
Not necessarily, because for me, generally when you look at me, you can't necessarily see that I have a tattoo.
Yeah.
It's only if I'm like this or like this. So it's more a thing that's in the back of my mind when I ask people about their tattoos, or it just reminds me that yes, you do need to blaze your own path, especially in the things that we are doing. Yeah. I
love that quote. I think that's... it's resonated with me, and I'm sure it's resonated with so many other people. Now, as your story, I have found very inspiring through your gym progress and the way you PT and coached. Yeah. I'm a living testimonial of this. It's incredible. But when you say that you have guided people to overcome these limiting beliefs, these confidence issues in the gym, what has been the biggest reward that you've gotten, or the biggest takeaway that you've learnt with coaching so many different people in the gym about life, personal life, professional life?
I think the most important thing would be hope and self-belief in the sense for themselves. The fact that, you know what, it doesn't have to be gym. If I can just take this procedure, this method that I've used to build willpower or strength or passion, I can take it and apply it in different areas in my life. And when I start to see people actually start to do that, and it spill over and actually become more of a communion rather than just different parts, like a jack of all trades, that's when I know that somebody has got it. You know what I mean? Especially when it becomes a thing where somebody probably hasn't had the willpower or the motivation to get to the gym consistently in the ways that they think they should, to get the results that they want. But when people start to realize that, you know what, I don't have to be 100 all the time. I don't always have to have the best workout. It's more about just showing up. And when I see that in people, them showing up when I'm not having to message and say, show up, that's when I know that, things have started to switch.
Why do you think this is such a common recurrence for people? Because I've seen, talking to so many other people that have struggled with this thing, or they are a PT, that people struggle with all these limiting belief, confident issues. Why do you think this is the case for so many people, on your experience?
Two things. One is for a lot of people out there, people say they want things and they want to do certain things, they want to change, but people forget that for you to change, you need to accept where you are. And not just accept where you are, you need to love yourself where you are at, for you to actually have a clear perspective on what truly needs to shift, what really needs to happen for you to get where you need to be. And the second thing is self-belief. A lot of people are not told enough that they can do things, that that whatever they put their mind to, they can do. Or even just the simple things like a great job at work today, a great job for me, just saying great set, that is so much love from me to the other person, because I genuinely know what it takes. to be able to do that. So it's self-belief. So when somebody can get up in the morning and say, I don't have to rely on anyone else but myself, not that you don't need people, but for you to have the self-confidence and say, I believe I can do and I will apply, that's where I feel people just fall a little bit. And just one more thing, it's also just not knowing what they want, not being truly transparent about what makes them happy, what they want to do, how they want to behave, how they want to dress. People don't know those things enough about themselves, and that's why they spiral and go into different directions. And and don't get anywhere. I made that a big story, but in the gym.
No, that's incredible. That's really good. That's powerful.
Yeah.
What was that for you? Because you weren't born with fitness. This is something that you had to develop. Was confidence, self-image something you personally struggled with?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the time. I could go back. Maybe this is another episode of my backpack story. But I struggled with all those things. But the thing was that there came a point where I was like, I'm not going to be a victim anymore. And I am going to take control and I am going to take responsibility to change myself. Because no one is going to come and do that for me.
Good point. Good point.
But also, and I'm sure you have got to some points where you have just said, enough is enough. But a lot of people get to enough is enough, but then they explode or they trip out or they do something that takes the situation to a worse parallel. Where, for me, my enough is enough was saying that, okay, Naz, what are you going to do? How are you going to apply yourself? How are you going to be for yourself and for other people? And only when I got that truth, that's when things started to shift. And then music was like, hi. And DJing was like, hi. And production was hi. It's just like that. So it came from me knowing what I wanted.
How did you know what you want? What questions did you ask yourself to really tap into this? Because it's such a deep concept and easier said than done. Just ask yourself these questions. But what questions did you personally ask yourself to uncover?
I don't necessarily think it was more questions. It was more just going into the past and really seeing what are the things, first of all, I love to do, but where were the things that I excelled at, no matter what, no matter if I was not given credit for it or not. What are the things that I really loved to do and I felt joy from that? And then that's when music just kept popping up. And I was like, you know what? I'm either going to learn how to make music or learn how to play music. And yeah.
Good point. Now, with someone tuning into the story, whether they know you or may not know you, what is an underlining lesson that you've learnt in your journey so far, whether that was in your past or in your present right now? It'd be good to get the comparison on how much you've grown during this process. Is there an underlining story that you would like to share?
Like I said, there's a lot of stories and based on context that I can go into and different lessons and different ways that I've approached things. But I think the one important lesson for me is just never give up. Because as long as you never give up, you may trip forward, you may fail forward, whatever people want to call it, but that trip forward or that fail forward is always going to turn into experience. And you will grow stronger, you will wake up better, you will wake up more educated. And if you don't end up knowing what you want to do, you'll end up knowing what you don't want to do.
Good point. And there's a win-win either way, right?
It's all about maneuvering every single day, just fine-tuning a little bit, you know what I mean? And getting closer to what feels right, what doesn't feel right. People are too afraid to say when they don't feel good about certain things, they're too afraid to say it or actually make that judgment call to say, that's not for me, but that's for me. You know what I mean? And just to make those simple little decisions. So it's more micro things that you do. You kind of have to coach yourself to do things or be your own support initially until you start to realize who or what do I need to support me making what I want to make happen.
Did you have a mentor at all during this period of your life?
The closest thing that I've had to come to a mentor would be when I was doing my NLP and hypnotherapy coaching. So that was for about a year, 2 years that I had guidance. But when it's come to actually pursuing things and, getting myself up and learn this, learn that, unfortunately, it has had to all come through either divine connection or something that just keeps on gnawing at me and saying, this is something you need to do. So for me, it's always been like, all right, if no one is going to open up that opportunity for me, I'm just going to do it myself. And I'm sure you have seen me do that over 100%, the year.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Be like, you know what, I'm just going to do it.
That's incredible. For someone who doesn't have a mentor or is in need or needs that guidance, what would be your advice to them to take this next step? Or is it more taking the route you went with, looking for externals, like whether that's God, more of the spiritual side of things?
All I can say is the best search and the best journey, but the scariest journey is not out there, it's on the inside. And if you truly want to know what you are meant to do and what your purpose is, you gotta go inside eventually. The sooner you do it, the quicker things just start to make sense. And when things make sense, just like when you learn something in school and it clicks, you never forget it.
Did you have a lot of fear personally to go inside?
A lot. I've had fear up to very recently. I still have it. It's all about just how you transmute it, but then also remembering why you do what you do. If you don't have your passion or why you're doing it, that thing's going to scare you. That thing's going to say, don't do it.
So it's having that underlining why, that mission behind
That's
it.
what drives you. Like, as you know, and you've observed me in times when I'm just like, I look out of it, or I'm still showing up at the gym. But,
on 1 hour's sleep.
Yeah, but it's because I remind myself that I'm doing it for that purpose or this mission. Because if that was not there, I could just easily just roll over in bed and just be like, sorry guys, I ain't coming to class today.
Good point. Naz, if you could go back to your younger self, whether that's in your good old days or worst days, what would you tell yourself and why with the knowledge and wisdom you have now?
Like I said before, never give up and believe in yourself or learn to believe in yourself. It's easier said than done just to say believe in yourself, but you need to learn how to believe in yourself and you need to learn how to love yourself where you're at. Because at first, just I'll give an example of me training. I used to do it for external validation and, just for people to be like, oh, damn, you look good, etc. And that was a good driver, but it fell away because it was just not congruent with what I was and who I was. And especially after I got diagnosed, I stopped training for goals. And as you know, I don't even follow a program because when I'm in that gym, I'm training for myself. I'm doing what I need to do to take care of myself in that moment, even just to make it through that day. So you just kind of really know what you want and what things are important and what are you willing to prioritize among anything else, and let those be a couple, 3 or 4 things that you do in the day, and just go with it.
Naz, Coach Naz, thank you so much for pulling up today.
You're welcome.
Beautiful day for it, and I really appreciate the support.
Yeah,
all
sure.
Naz's resources are links below. Check out his podcast, 6K Dream State, and his events, his DJ gigs are lit. And sometimes I'm the photographer and videographer on set, so you'll be able to see me as well. Naz, thank you so much for pulling up, man. I really appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Peace.
Brother, that was good, man.